Do not be afraid of failure. When Adam sinned, he tried to hide from God. When Jonah refused to preach to Nineveh, his fear drove him into the ocean. When Peter denied Christ, he was afraid to face his master. Something worse than failure is the fear that goes with it. Adam, Jonah and Peter ran away from God. Not because they lost their love for him, but because they were afraid. He was too angry with them to understand. The accuser of the brethren waits like a vulture for you to fail. Then he uses every lie in hell to make you give up on faith, or to convince you that you are too sinful to come back. It took 40 years to get the fear out of Moses and make him usable in God's program. If Moses, Jacob and David had become resigned to failure, we might never have heard of them. Yet Moses rose up again to become one of God's greatest heroes. Jacob faced his sins. He was reunited with his brother. He had cheated and reached a new heights of victory. David ran to God, found forgiveness and peace, and returned to his finest hour. Jonah retraced his steps, did what he had refused to do at first, and brought a whole city to repentance. Peter rose out of the ashes of denial to lead the church to Pentecost. A famous preacher in America by the name of David Wilkerson says, "In 1958, I sat in my little car weeping. I thought I was a terrible failure. I had been unceremoniously dumped from a New York City courtroom after I thought I was led by God to witness to 7 teenage murderers." Don't know if you remember that courtroom case. You can get it in a book called The Cross and the Switchblade. My attempt to obey God and to help those young hoodlums seemed to be ending in horrible failure. I shudder to think of how much blessing I would have missed had I given up in that dark hour. How glad I am today that God taught me to face my failings and to go on to his next step for me. And he started up Teen Challenge, a work for teenagers and others who'd been on drugs. And my friend went to the Teenage Challenge place here in London and came off of drugs. And we went to India together on mission. Many have been helped through Teen Challenge. So, God can turn your failure into victory. Do not hide away from God. Face your failure and go back to God.